Welcome to the Hockey Players Club podcast. Brought to you by HockeyPlayersClub.com, where hockey players from around the world connect for one-of-a-kind content and quality products at unbeatable prices. Like the brand new Hpc X1x Hockey Stick, made of 100% 18K Diamond Light carbon fiber, completely redesigned and only weighing 375 grams, the X1X delivers all the performance and durability of the most elite sticks on the market, but for $100 less.
Let's see what this man thinks.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Hockey Players Club podcast. Kyle Kittleberger, Matt Schwartz, Kevin Custard, Old Man Rubio over there in the corner.
You're going to lead with
and
that.
We're off and running. Welcome back. But how are we doing tonight, boys? Because I can guarantee all of us are doing a whole lot better than Johnny Boychuk right about now.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Whose skate was that? Anyone know?
Someone on the Hurricane, or was it the Canadians?
It's Canadians.
Yeah.
I forget who it was.
Fuck. All I know is I saw
wild,
the still shot, right? Where the blade is literally, looks like it's right directly in his eye/eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You posted on our Instagram, right? Nope.
Yeah,
No, make this up?
the still shot. A person from the Islanders media posted today that he got 90 stitches.
Yeah.
And he, Boychuk actually posted like a funny tweet saying like he appreciated everyone's well wishes and they him and his family like appreciated all of them, and that he apologizes for like the late message, but his facial recognition wasn't working on his iPhone.
He actually posted a message and it was a bunch of random letters put together, and that he was like, sorry, that was me. Someone's going to type this one in for me next.
Yeah, there are tons of plays on words on the internet today. Didn't see that one coming. Plays for the Islanders.
And they've already had a severe eye injury in their past, Brian Berard.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, it's surprising you don't see more shit like that happen.
That's the first thing I said to Katie when I saw it. I was like, it's amazing that shit doesn't happen more often, because how many times a guy falls and his skate comes up, but it just hits nothing.
Yeah.
Or a guy falls and his face is right along the ice and nothing happens to catch it. So he was obviously really lucky that I heard that it just cut the eyelid and didn't actually make contact with the eye. Like, that's how close it was. But thank goodness he was wearing the shield, at least. I think that had to have slowed it down just enough.
I can't wait to see what he looks like.
Oh,
He's going to have a gnarly scar.
To say the least.
That badge of honor. It's going to look sweet.
In our lifetime, will they go to cages or a full shield?
No.
I don't think they ever will, and there's a lot of things that don't make sense. I just think it's like one of those things that they're too proud to do it.
Yeah.
But I think they should. You know, I wear a cage in beer league. I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially like in beer league, because you can't trust what's happening out there.
There is something to be said, though, about the fact that I think, like, the guys that wear cages, when you watch, like, college hockey, like, there's way more sticks that are up and guys that are careless because they know, oh, this guy's got a cage on, it's not a big deal. Whereas in the pros, it's one of those things, like, you better know what the fuck you're doing out there, or somebody's going to punch you in the mouth and make sure you get the lesson.
Without question. My last year junior, every guy in our team wore a half shield, which was not even usual for like a tier 2 junior A. But that was kind of like our team's makeup, if you will. And I mean, I remember it was like first or second practice. I mean, you become very cognizant of your stick, your elbows, and everything very fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just worried that we'll see something terrible happen, and someone's just gonna be like, the insurance company are gonna step in. But I'm with you. And I don't want it to go that direction, but you just wonder. You know,
I mean, you're just seconds away from seeing just a head decapitated out there with those skates. I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me here. Another thing that stands out, boys, is it's starting to feel like home around here. You know, the new surroundings. We're in the HPC headquarters, new offices for everybody. And I'll tell you what, it's starting to feel like home. I don't like the corner I'm in. But besides that,
since we sat down.
Besides that, if I sound uncomfortable on the microphone, it's because I am. But other than that, it's starting to feel like home.
we put the baby in the corner, and we give him White Claws. No, it's slowly starting to come together, boys. We got a nice Chesterfield couch that's like way too classy for the office.
No one's going to sit in.
Oh, we're gonna sit in that bastard. You mind your business. And
walk in during the day, they're both sitting on it. It's like, hey,
Don't we look right? Don't we look professional over here?
But super exciting, we did get in the Hockey Shot synthetic ice today.
Sweet.
So over the course of the next week, we've got a few things to work on in the, I don't know, we want to call it the studio. But it's going to be pretty badass.
Yesterday was that yesterday? I don't know when it was, but we were testing this tarp to see if it would withhold some hockey pucks.
Sure.
So we hit it with a couple shots, low left, just fine. And then I went bottom center and went a little too low. And
a little
it just
too hard.
blew through the vent, blew through the tarp, and put a hole in our wall. So we already have a hole in the wall.
Off to a good start.
Hide that from the landlord.
1 month in of a 3-year lease. You know,
It was like one of 4 shots too.
we're like, you know what? We're not really anticipating getting the security deposit back anyhow. So what the fuck?
That reminds me of a quick story, which I believe you were there for, which was at Bowling Green when you and a couple of our other friends came to move me out of my house that I lived in. And there was like 4 or 5 hockey guys all living in this house. We had thrown a bunch of parties, never had anything go wrong in terms of holes in the walls, anything like that. One of our idiot friends, in the 6 hours he's at my house, puts a fucking hole in the wall. I was like, you gotta be goddamn kidding me. You drove all this way just to put a hole in the wall? It's like, hey, I just want to hang out with you.
Was it one of our friends that has a 2-letter first name?
It might be.
Yeah.
What's interesting is not more holes ended up in your wall your dad's house in the basement.
Yes, also amazing.
We were well behaved. I mean, relatively speaking. We weren't doing damage. We respected our surroundings.
But this place is going to be a hockey friggin' mecca.
Haven.
Mecca, haven, kingdom, heaven, you name it. This place is going to be sick. Can't wait for you guys to see the shooting room.
Yeah, it's gonna be
and
cool.
maybe we'll get some art on the walls, some jerseys on the walls.
There's some foam in here.
And although it's a
Some
mecca,
guy-
no pilgrimages around, okay? not welcome.
We're going to
You
get a
can't
goal
just, like,
siren.
Might even show off my snapshot back there. You never know.
You don't have one of those. Where have you been hiding that all these years? You've that old sweeping wrister.
That is true. The old Kovalev, the toe drag wrister.
Toe drag. Now you're getting crazy.
Bring it from way over here.
Now you're
No,
getting crazy.
that's what I tried to develop it after, but as you know, I haven't touched the ice in a couple years now.
And the ice is happy about that.
Yeah. You guys are lucky enough.
Chopping it up. You used to pound that ice.
Flying past you out there.
You run on your skates.
That is pretty much it. How about the fact? Are you guys familiar with MoneyPuck.com?
I wasn't until I saw the stat you're about to say.
Yeah, apparently, according to MoneyPuck.com, the Flyers now have the Philadelphia Flyers. Just so we're on the same page, the Philadelphia Flyers now have the best odds of winning the Stanley Cup at 12.4%. Mind blown.
I think it's official that we can all say that you can't trust the Money Puck prediction.
I think it's fair
right.
to say that MoneyPuck.com is housed in Philadelphia.
I mean, someone should be losing their job for this. Is all.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't know, gentlemen. The Flyers are kind of on fire.
They are, but I guarantee you these predictions have to be weighted towards the most recent games more than the total body.
Yeah, I
of
think
work.
they change on a daily
Right.
basis. Yeah.
But
Because Philly and Vegas, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're both respectable squads, but they right now have higher odds than, say, Boston and St. Louis,
And
or
Tampa.
Colorado, Washington. I mean,
yeah, I call shenanigans on that.
And Pittsburgh right now only has 2%, which definitely says that it has to be weighted towards the recent.
Yeah,
games.
because they're losing streak.
Right, but
Either way, Flyers fans have to be excited about the way their team's been playing of late. 6 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10.
They're on a run.
Getting her done.
A lot better than their cross-state rivals.
That's right. They finally ended that losing streak last
Before it
night.
got to 7.
The thing I don't like about Philly as a Penguins fan is that they finally have a good goalie.
Yeah, that's worrisome.
Yeah.
yeah, all these years you knew that was just gonna whatever. They got Czech Monic in there.
Yeah.
That's the first one I thought of. Too.
Oh, no worries. They played 8 goalies this year.
Yeah.
Which is just a crazy number. But we're going to stick with the NHL talk here, boys, because 3 stars of the week came out. And 3rd star of the week goes to Colorado Avalanche goalie Pavel Francouz.
Yeah.
Francouz. You didn't even let it come out of my mouth before you corrected me.
Well, you got it wrong.
But let's
and then
see, he
I
was 3-0 all week with 2.0 goals against average, .946 save percentage. And the Avalanche are back on a nice little run here.
Yeah. And he was, I think we actually skipped over it last week, but he was one of the 3 stars last week as well.
You're right.
And he's been on just an absolute tear since Grubauer went down, which obviously that's exactly what the Avalanche needed, because I think we even talked about it. It's like, oh, the Avs, they lost Rantanen again, and now they just lost Grubauer. Like, they could be in trouble, and what do you know? They go on a huge fucking winning streak.
Yeah, he's a stud right now. Only 8 different goaltenders in franchise history have posted a longer winning streak, they actually said. And if you think about him, he hasn't been there very long. That's actually not too shabby.
Yeah.
You know where he's from? Anyone?
Czech Republic?
Oh, Kittelberger showing his fucking stupidity early on. Yes.
Hey, and if you're wondering if that knowledge pops up at the end, stay tuned. Win Kyle's money at the end.
Yeah, we gotta let people know. If anyone doesn't know, Kittelberger, the savant that sits here, towards the end of the show, our contestants, our members of the HPC, get to challenge him for a free HPC gift card. So make sure you check it to the end, or skip ahead if you have to. But
Bring it on, pussies.
But make sure
wow, you're gonna talk shit there.
we're getting right to it.
I need that soundbite. I need that as a dub.
Second star of the week, defenseman for the Nashville Predators, Ryan Ellis, who actually had a goal and 6 assists for 7 points over 3 contests this week. And holy shit, assist, Batman.
Yeah. I mean, no surprise that Ellis comes back and starts producing, and that's when Nashville finally pulls themselves back into the playoff race. He's a huge part of that team, and they've missed him dearly since he got knocked out at the fucking Winter Classic by Corey Perry. And so, yeah, Ellis continuing to do what he was doing that first half of the season and just being a big part of driving that offense from the back end.
I'm such a fan of Ryan Ellis. I mean, you guys know I'm always a fan of the undersized players, being one myself. Naturally. I remember him getting drafted, and there was a lot of speculation, will the 11th overall pick even really make it to the show? I mean, everyone loved him, had a cannon, but he's small, especially for a D-man. And he definitely had to battle his way through a couple years in the A before he's established himself. But now, I mean, he is just, on many teams, he's a top pair D. He plays on Nashville, so I think he rotates between top and second pair, depending on who's in and out of the lineup. But just a stud, and God, that guy's got a bomb. And that beard, he looks like a little leprechaun. Sorry, Ryan.
Smaller the guy, bigger the beard. I think that's the rule. First star of the week goes to Minnesota Wild forward Kevin Fiala, who played in 4 games this week, and he had 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points, helping the Wild do a 3-1-0 record and within 1 point of a playoff spot. What do we think of Kevin Fiala having a breakout week here late in the season?
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that he's showed a lot of promise through his career. He was a high first-round draft pick and all that type of stuff. But it just seemed like he could never really put it together. He'd be very, very streaky. So you got to wonder, is this just another one of those hot streaks, or is this him turning the corner and becoming that really consistent player that the Wild can depend on? Because that's something that they're sorely lacking. It seems like they have a bunch of guys that can be good, but they're not consistently good. They're either too streaky, or at this point they're just too old and they're just not producing anymore.
Guy has some wheels on him. He can throw on the afterburners and blow past guys. Interesting enough, also 11th overall pick like Ryan Ellis.
Huh.
But a few years later, Kittelberger, to prove your nerdery, where is Kevin Fiala from?
Kevin Fiala's from Switzerland?
You're such a dick. Come on.
Oh, he is so much smarter than you people out there. It is unbelievable.
Did you guys happen to see his goal? I think it was last night against Nashville, against Soros.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what you guys feel about that.
Well played.
I like it. I like it. He's been holding on to that for the whole fucking show.
Was this one he dangled, what, two
I think your boy Ellis kind of dropped down on like it was like a little mini 2-on-1, and he laid down on his chest, and he did like a kind of a double toe drag, very impatient with the puck, and then went top titty. What do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, the curl and shoot was nasty. All right, you got the pun.
Just in case
I want an answer.
I said it was a nasty curl and drag. It was great.
It was a patient move. I haven't seen patience like that since the Mother Mary.
Oh, we got to turn the sound off.
Oh man. Soros looks sorry on that one.
It is one of those plays that just reminds me how good these guys are in the show. Like, for all the beer leaguers out there that say, "Oh, that looks so easy."
Yeah.
When things are going this fast against players at this level, to have that patience and slow it down and throw it top corner near side,
unbelievable.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I do think Soros was a little deep in his net, so he probably should feel ashamed about that. But
All right, we got to move on. We got to move it the fuck
We
along.
need to stop the bleeding and move on. How about we move on to another?
Cut him off.
How about we move on to another
Someone turn
NHL
his mic
award? And that is the NHL
I feel
Roo-
amazing.
Rookie of the Month. Okay, are we going to start this one more time? Okay. How about we move on to the NHL Rookie of the Month for February? And that went to Vancouver Canucks defenseman Quinn Hughes.
America.
Quinn who? Quinn Hughes. And he led all rookies with 15 points and 13 assists over his 13 games played in the month of February. And he is someone that, coming in to the season, I feel like all the focus was on his bro. And now all of a sudden, Quinn Hughes has really put together a hell of a year for his rookie campaign.
Yeah. I mean, before the season, I definitely thought both of the Hughes brothers wowould be in the running for Calder.
You didn't think that.
No, I agree.
What about Quinn Hughes?
I agree that I thought Jack Hughes would be better. I thought he'd have a more dynamic rookie season. But before the season started, I thought Cale Makar was going to be the Calder Trophy winner. And he still might be the front runner, but Hughes has definitely closed the gap. He has been unbelievable for that team, and he's a big reason that they're fighting for a playoff spot that year because he's carrying the load on the back end. Pettersson's obviously carrying it offensively, and they've gotten great goaltending. So he's the real deal, Quinn Hughes, and a proud American.
Proud American. Really impressive, too, when you look around the league. This time of year, we got some guys who have now settled into the league a little bit, who are putting up numbers as rookies. Ryan Suzuki had a big month, as did Cale Makar. And a guy that I'm big on, I don't know if you guys have watched him much, but Dominic Kuba, if I'm not mistaken, is he a Czech? But a lefty out of in Chicago. Guy has a cannon on him.
He's putting up some points, man.
He is putting up some points.
He's burying
Had
goals.
8 goals this month. 4 assists, 12 points in 14 games played. That's obviously pretty solid numbers.
Yeah.
But, hard to beat Quinn Hughes, who as a defenseman is going over a point a game. He's just settling. I mean, he looks like a guy who's going to be a number 1 D-man for just years to come, the way he skates and manages the puck.
That's what it comes down to, Brandon. His skating ability is pretty exceptional. He's the kind of guy that you tune in just to watch him skate. He loves those little Sid open 10 and 2 strides with the puck.
Open the hips.
Very open to hips.
Like your mother likes it.
Got him.
My mother's a Satan.
How about this quote from Quinn Hughes? Just to be honest, in that same article. I'm not the one making the call, but especially the last 30 games, I don't know if anyone has been better than me. Confidence in the young man?
Well, he is American, so he's got that confidence.
Did he tweet it? Yeah.
I don't know. You got to be. He's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong. You got to
feel
we
that
need
way.
a little bit more honesty out there.
Yeah.
Believe in your fucking self.
And there's a fine line between like cockiness and healthy confidence. So they can brush right up against one another. There's actually a line that I remember my dad saying to me at one point. I think I must have been like middle school or something like that. And I think one of our friends there was something had gotten hurt. He was like, well, send him to me. I'm the best. We'll get him back. It's like, Dad, isn't that a little cocky? And he's like, it's not cocky if you're right.
True.
That's right. Hey, you're not going to aw shucks your way to an MVP, I'll tell you that. All right. How about, has anyone kept track of the Edmonton Oilers? Because there's a gentleman out there with the last name Draisaitl, Leon, that is just continuing to light the stat sheet on fire. He got his 100th point. Right now, he's up to 108. So that just shows you, how long ago we wrote this article. It was actually only 2 games ago that we came up with this. But he is on an absolute tear.
And how about those 4 goals the other night? You see that?
Yeah.
I love Maddie pointed the one up. I had to go look at. I went and watched the 4 goals. His last goal, I've never seen.
He just planted that. That was such a unique
the way
goal.
he lined up. If anyone out there is listening, go check it out on YouTube, or we'll have it in the blog of the podcast recap. We'll embed that video. But the 4th goal, he is like kind of in the middle of the ice in the power play, but has his back to McDavid, and yet they clearly know he's a
lefty on that
he's
right
a lefty,
side.
and he's looking for that puck on the backhand. Where if you're a defender, you're never thinking he's getting fed that puck, and he catches on his backhand, quickly snaps it far side on his forehand. It was just one of those ones where I don't think I've ever seen that.
That's what I thought too when I saw it.
But I know I was a hater when he got that deal at first. I'm like, why the hell are they paying him that kind of money?
Yeah,
and at this point,
8.5 a year.
At this point, I mean, he's underpaid. And I do appreciate, I saw a quote this past week. Someone was asking, should he be in the running as MVP? And something along the lines of, many people kind of look that he needs McDavid, but the fact is there's a lot of teams, and I think he referenced the Penguins. Like the Penguins have Crosby and Malkin, and who's to say that we're not that? Like, 1A, 1B kind of thing. Yeah. And he's certainly proving it. My question is, can you name Draisaitl an MVP, considering McDavid is on that team, and we would have named him MVP? Like,
it's a good question.
If he didn't get this injury. Like,
I think you can. I think you still can. Like, I did see somebody who tweeted something along the lines the other day of it, like, Draisaitl could win the MVP even though he's the second best player on his team, and I'm okay with that. Because if you just have that outstanding of a season, you can't discount what he's doing. And a lot of it, like you said, without McDavid, like they've been separated on different lines. Yes, they play together on the power play and rack up a ton of points there. But McDavid was out. Draisaitl even elevated his game. Like, he's as good as fucking Connor McDavid is, and I think he probably is the best player in the NHL. Like, Draisaitl is really carrying that team this year.
But is the MVP award, should it be, or is it currently, is it like most exceptional season?
It's supposed to be the player who's the most valuable to his team is the way they have it worked.
Right.
So if you take him out of the lineup.
Yeah, the Edmonton Oilers are dog shit.
Well, my thing is...
With McDavid, though? With McDavid in the lineup still?
Not enough. They don't have enough first overall picks to keep them above.
Who do you compare Draisaitl to in terms of like players from the past? Because he's so dynamic. He's a guy that you're not really. I don't know. I'm having a hard time comparing him to someone because he's big,
and he's got like a weird look.
Yeah,
he's got those big, wide shoulders. I just feel like he doesn't look like anybody.
He reminds me of Malkin a little.
I was going to say that.
See that.
I was going to say that.
More square shoulders. Malkin's got those little
well, they're both big, strong guys that are rangy, but can also beat you with like typewriter type moves, and just go through you to make you look like an asshole.
Yeah, more assists than goals.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, he put up 50 last year. He's going to put up 50 again probably this year.
Yeah.
All around awesome hockey player, and look out for him. Love watching him play. MVP or not, guy's definitely making a name for himself. Guy can play.
What was Kucherov's total last year?
129, I think.
Oh. I don't think he's going to pass that, if that's the number.
He's on track for
133.
He's
on track for 133, you're saying?
Yeah, I saw a chart where like they compared his season to Draisaitl's season this year, and they were basically right at the same spot.
128 last year.
Yeah, 128.
I mean, he keeps putting up fucking 5-point nights. He's going to get there in no time.
Yeah, no shit.
All right, moving on to another feel-good story in the NHL. You guys catch the Bobby Ryan story here?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, after being away from the game for, 3 months, completing 100 days of sobriety, in his first game back, Bobby Ryan got a hat trick, and they had pretty much the entire stadium chanting his name, and he got a little emotional about it, and just a nice story for someone that obviously was going through a rough time. Took a step away, got their shit together, came back, and is not missed a beat.
To clarify, it was his first home game in Ottawa.
First home game
It was
back.
his second game back, though. But
okay.
Not just because I know I actually assumed that as well.
I'm actually reading off the blog right this second. It was on the HPC blog. Check it out.
But apparently you can't read because it says the first home game.
First game back in Ottawa.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's called reading.
All right, is this on my literacy, or are we talking about Bobby Ryan?
Maybe both. But no, I was
on phonics.
Yeah, I was super happy to see it. Bobby Ryan's a guy that I've always rooted for. We were talking about a little bit earlier about his backstory and how crazy it is. So he comes from a pretty wild upbringing, and for him to get as far as he's gotten, a second overall draft pick, to be a U.S. Olympian and all that type of shit, that's a guy that I was disappointed to see the way his last couple seasons have gone. And so to see that obviously he had some demons and had some problems with alcoholism, but finally reaching out, getting the help he needs from everything that he said, he's now on a much better path. And then for him to have a fucking hat trick in that first game back was just unbelievable, because he only had one goal, I think, in those couple games he played at the beginning of the year.
And let's give him credit. That first goal was sick. I don't know if you guys
Oh, yeah.
saw
These were goal scorers.
Off his skate to his forehand, top near side in a hurry.
Yeah.
Second one was a nice tip going to the net. Third one was an empty netter. But, yeah, I mean, I think the whole hockey community is pulling for this guy at this point. You know, it's great that he acknowledged the fact that he could use some help. You know, I think a lot of guys maybe have a little too much pride or don't want to admit that kind of stuff. And there's a lot, you know, all the $1 million and playing in front of packed out stands aside, there's a lot of pressure these guys feel. And they are still human beings that have other shit going on in their lives. So it's sad that, you know, he had a period of time, he self-medicating. Don't give me your single tear. We could have a moment to acknowledge the guy's going through something. It's just awesome to see him back in the league. 100 days of sobriety, good for Bobby Ryan. Let's keep her going.
And I wanted to say something because I know that, especially in the last, since we started the podcast, I've shit on the Senators quite a bit. But I was really happy to see the Ottawa fans, the few that were there, really get behind him and cheer for him and do all that shit.
Yeah.
And there was there's a crazy stat that I saw, though, that I believe it was that game or the game before maybe, where the Ottawa Senators, of their 18 skaters that they had in the lineup, 12 of the 18 had either 0 or 1 goal on the season going into that game. Which just goes to show you all the pieces they sold at the deadline or injuries that they've had, like Duclair's out of the lineup and some other guys as well. But, no wonder they've had such issues in Ottawa. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was that I believe it was just earlier today, the Senators fired their CEO, Jim Little, who they had just hired back on January 10th. So he hasn't been there all that long.
2020, for the record.
Yeah. He's
Like a
been
month
there.
and a half ago?
Yes, exactly. And he was brought in to try to help with some of the problems they've had from a business perspective, try to boost their attendance. Well, apparently he got in an argument with Eugene Melnick, and there's been statements released. My favorite from Jim Little's statement was when he said, "I'm a strong-willed person, and the disagreement included me using some very strong language with him over the phone, including swearing, which he did not appreciate, and for which I would apologize." So it's funny when I read something like that, because I've always thought Eugene Melnick was a bit of an unhinged individual. But to me, he just makes him sound to me like he's George Steinbrenner from Seinfeld. When he's just like this crazy person. It's like, you know what? If you don't believe me, you're gone. You're out of here.
You know what's funny? As shitty as they're doing this year, they're 23 points better than the Detroit Red Wings.
Oh, God. They're having a historically
Put that in
horrendous
perspective.
season.
And they have draft picks out the wazoo.
3 first-round draft picks.
Yeah. They're actually not in a terrible position. Like, they've got some good young players, Shabbat and Brady Tkachuk being the most important.
Yeah, Chabot.
I didn't
really
realize
good for him.
how big Brady Tkachuk was. Somebody, I think I might have saw it on Reddit or Instagram. I think it was Reddit. Some guy who was like, it was his rehearsal dinner in Ottawa, and he's in some pub, or after the rehearsal dinner, and he sees Brady Tkachuk walking by the pub, runs out, and is like, "Hey, it's tonight for my wedding. Would you mind stopping in, just taking a picture with me and my wife-to-be?" Brady Tkachuk, of course, obliged. This guy proceeds to put a picture out. Brady Tkachuk looks like he's, I don't know, 7 foot tall. Clearly, this gentleman wasn't that tall. And I'm not hating, okay? I'm only 5'8" over here. But I'm saying Brady Tkachuk is a big, strapping young man.
How about that deflection he had last night?
While getting
that was
cross-checked in the
nasty.
back?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very Walt-like.
6'4", 212,
And how old is he?
20.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, it's just bullshit. How do some people get
Shit's
that?
not
Just
fair.
winning the genetic lottery.
Yeah.
God damn it, Mom and Dad. 5'10" over here. How about changing
Little
gears
horn.
to a different league? What'd you say?
Small horn.
Oh, that little guy? Don't worry about that little guy.
All right, are we going to change gears here? Do we want to continue with the stand-up routine?
I can
All right.
change the gears.
Ontario Hockey League. Changing gears to the team that is in Kingston. Shane Wright is his name. Who's heard of him, boys? Anybody?
I've heard of him.
Because he's having a hell of a year for a 15-year-old. And the last time someone had a year like this in the Ontario Hockey League, his name was Connor McDavid.
Heard of him.
Yeah. For anyone out there who doesn't know, Shane Wright is a 15-year-old playing in the OHL. So that's actually an underage year.
Yep.
So there's a thing in
That's so fucking impressive.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So there's a thing in the CHL. So that's the governing body of the OHL, WHL, QMJHL, right? Where you can get deemed exceptional status. That has been Connor McDavid, John Tavares,
Yep.
Eric Lindros.
No, I don't think Lindros.
Did that exist back then?
No,
I'm not sure.
that's a
I
newer
feel like we're
type of
missing
thing.
one other guy.
Lindros was, I thought.
He got concussion
think so.
status.
Well, he definitely
I
got
think,
concussion
I think
status.
Aaron Ekblad was one.
Okay, yeah, let's look that up. Nonetheless,
let me
Joe
look it up.
Valeno, maybe, who didn't really live up to it, but
4 players ever.
okay.
I thought there were more. Unless
Give
you're
it
just
to
looking
And
at the
there's
OHL.
one guy in the queue. John
Okay.
Tavares, Aaron Ekblad, Connor McDavid, Sean Day,
Oh, Sean Day. That was
and then Joe Valeno.
Joe Valeno. Yeah, okay.
All right, you know.
Was in
Not
the
an
queue.
asshole. Yeah, okay. But even still.
So
Crazy that Sean Day.
yeah, not.
I
He hasn't really panned out,
Lindros
yeah.
was.
Which is wild because otherwise they've been first overall picks, right? John Tavares was here for John.
Tavares was one, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But so this guy,
so Wright does have exceptional status, so he's the
yeah,
fifth.
so he's a he
Okay.
has exceptional status. So he's a 15-year-old playing in the OHL amongst 16 to 20-year-old guys.
How do they determine
As old as
it's-
21.
Who sits there and is like, is this guy exceptional?
Hockey Canada.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Because
Hockey
more
Canada.
people put in for it, actually, and obviously majority of the people get rejected.
I'd
So-
like to know how they determine that.
Oh,
It's
dude.
one guy.
Think, but if you think
Here's
about
the sheet this year, sir.
the
Spins a wheel.
the whole scouting organization of Hockey Canada.
Yeah.
And they know all of their leagues, especially the GTHL, which is where he played, like the Greater Toronto Hockey League.
Yeah.
I played in Don Mills, Flyers, AAA. I mean, huge numbers as in his last year. And so, yeah, I don't know who the actual gremlins are that get the vote on that. But anyhow, exceptional status. The other night scored a natural hat trick and had an assist, which tied him for McDavid's underage number, which was the record at the time of 66 points. What I find crazy about this is it is in 9 less games. 9. Like not 2, not 3, 9. Like this guy's definitely going to rack up at least a handful of points in those next 9 games, if not like 18 at his kind of numbers.
That's pretty
he plays.
impressive.
He's a pretty big righty. He is living up to the expectations so far. It's interesting. It's just also wild to think that like we talk about 15-year-old hockey players.
I fucking love stories like this. I live for this shit. This puts asses in the seats.
No doubt.
I bet you when Kingston is in town, people come to the games because they
Hell
want to
yeah,
see
you
this
wanna
kid
see the
play.
Same, remember we went up to Erie to go see McDavid
Yeah.
play? I mean,
Looking at his highlights on YouTube. Do yourself a favor. Do a little YouTube search, Shane Wright OHL highlights. And the kid looks big. I mean, he's
he's
listed
big.
at 5'11", 180.
Yeah.
For a 15-year-old,
That's
that's
big.
pretty good.
Yeah.
We have 15-year-olds on our high school team that weigh 115 pounds.
At best.
And there's 6'3".
No.
We don't have any 6'3" people at HPC, just so you know.
Yeah. So is he in 9th grade? Like he's a 9th grader or a 10th grader?
Yeah, you're right.
9th or
Yeah.
10th grade
Yeah.
at 15 years old.
in the OHL.
In the OHL, and he
Against
doesn't look
21-year-olds
small.
in some
He's got the
instances.
puck on his stick all the time. Cannon of a shot. Absolutely love it. Wish the NHL granted exceptional status because I'd love to see if he could play at 17 2 years from now. Or would you rather him just like pile on the
Exactly.
numbers?
Yeah.
I'd rather see him have like a Lemieux season where he has like 275 points in the
Yeah.
OHL.
Yeah.
Like that would be great. And my thing is, God, it would be so disappointing if you let a guy in underage in the NHL and he because I mean, that would be so difficult, this game to step into as a young man. If it wasn't a good season, if he had like a Jack Hughes season even right now, it would just be such a wah, wah. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, don't get me wrong. If there was a guy out there that was Kevin Garnett-esque that's like stepped straight out of high school into the big leagues,
Wow,
that would be sweet.
That's a reference I didn't think was in your wheelhouse, Brandon. The NBA.
So
Wow.
when will his draft class be?
2022.
So I wonder if the Red Wings will still suck. Because they know that teams are salivating over
They're
this guy.
planning ahead for this.
Salivating, I don't think is a proper
Yeah, they're
term.
already trying to fail for Lafreniere. Who knows what they'll do the year after that. And then
Yeah.
get ready for Shane Wright.
Am I crazy or was
You are
Darren
crazy.
Dreger a Red Wing?
Was Darren Drake? No, I don't think so.
Okay, moving on. I don't know why I brought that up.
So you were crazy, yeah. You were right.
Okay. That's not the first time someone's called me crazy. But we are going to shift gears yet again, so this would be about third or fourth gear right now if you're keeping track at home. But there's been some new rules discussions going on behind closed doors with the NHL right now. I'm sure you've heard about the chip in the puck that is going to debut, not next year, but for the playoffs, which seems like a good time to do new stuff. But also the offside rule, which has long been a pain in the ass for the NHL and all involved, is looking to get a little tweak, and it's all but confirmed, according to Darren Dreger, that after 3 years of discussions, the offside rule will be amended to basically be treated like a plane, like the football goal line, in that you don't have to have the skate making contact with the ice. It just has to be over the blue line in that area and not over the plane. How do we feel about that, gentlemen?
I think it's the logical move. I think it's something that a lot of people have been arguing for, like you said, for the last 3 years at least, since they put in offside review. And I think it's the logical step, because I think it's going to be much easier to be able to determine, okay, the skate is still above the blue line, rather than sitting there being like, is his toe on the ice? Is it still touching? I can't fucking tell. So I think this was just the logical move in terms of making it much easier to determine yes or no, is he actually onside?
And there's just been too many of these stoppages for that, right?
Yeah.
And if they're going to be those stoppages, like you said, there's been some of them that have just gone on way too long debating if the foot's up or not. If we can at least make it a little more objective of, clear cut, I'm all for it. I'm interested to see, though, what the actual rule will be. He obviously is kind of speculating, didn't put a lot of detail out there. Is it the front of the line, the back of the line? I don't know.
Well, it'll still be the same. It still has to still be the front of the line. It's just, your skate has to be basically above the blue line.
You think you're in the know, Kyle?
Yeah,
You're not
I do.
in the know.
I don't know if I like this rule.
Why not?
I don't know. I've always liked the idea of having to keep your skate on the ice. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you still can, Matt. No one's
Well, I
forcing
know you still can, but it just seems like an odd thing that, why?
How long until
Let me ask you
have
this.
a body part?
Yeah, would it be like, can I have my hand in the air?
Right, or stick.
Behind
Your
me?
stick, and now it's going to be like NFL.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
did
a
he
good
cross
question.
the goal
That's a good
line?
point.
I don't know.
Is it just feet?
I don't know. Maybe it could be a hand. Maybe you see guys with their hand way out, just trying to keep that onside.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see when they actually come out with the rule.
And I will say, to play devil's advocate, I think the whole offside review is fucking stupid, to begin with, because for whatever it was, almost 100 years, nobody thought offside was an issue. You just called it. It was either onside or offside. That's it.
Yeah.
It happened in the moment. Sometimes they missed it. Most of the time they got it right. And then all of a sudden, there was a couple blatant offsides that were missed, and everybody decided, oh, wait, this is something we should review. It's it's not a big problem. They made it a problem.
I don't know why you don't like this, because sometimes they take a goal out of your net.
Not my net.
As a goalie.
I've never played in any leagues with offside review.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, you're supposed to have these goalies' backs.
No, that's not the goalie's problem.
Okay. Save the puck then, goalies. You heard them.
Yeah.
What do you think the idea, though, this puck? I mean, did you read up on any of that?
I did.
Apparently,
Yeah,
they've been shooting these pucks. They've been testing them now for a couple years. They've been shooting them at 170 miles per hour
That sounds
out of
fast.
a cannon.
Yeah.
They say they actually can't turn it up to shoot it any harder.
To
So
find
they've
the
been
breaking
trying to
point.
break it. They can't break it because that was, I guess, early on prototypes. This bastard was breaking left and right.
Yeah.
And they've been secretly using them in games, and players don't even know it.
Wow.
To get
Yeah, I
like
thought that was
blind
interesting,
testing,
too.
because they want to see, do any of the players comment, does it feel different? The only one noted
I
in the
know.
article, of course,
Yeah.
was Sid the Kid commenting.
No, the
that
ridges felt it.
the
Hey, what the
ridges-
fucking puck am I playing with out there?
And I remember when he was like a rookie or like second year in, he was known, if there was a shitty puck on the ice in practice, I guess he would just flip it in the stands. Because if there was a puck that had a chip on it, he was like, fuck this puck. Gone. He's like, he doesn't even want anything to do with it. But I know we've talked about it. If this chip could be badass enough that will actually clarify, is this actually offsides? Is the puck across the line? I am all for making it more objective than rather than a couple guys in Toronto being like, oh, I think, if this thing could actually be definitive, cross the line, and also give the stats of true stats of how fast it's going. Just as a fan, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, because it's supposed to. I mean, I read the same article you did, and I think it said it's going to be sending out like 60 pieces of information per second or something like that, and tracking everything: speed, velocity, change of direction, all that. So,
Girth.
Yeah, girth. No, not girth.
I heard they've been shooting the rocket pucks, testing them on Rick DiPietro.
Why?
Interesting.
You know, just that contract. They're still trying to get that money out of it.
Rick, your contract's technically still valid, so we're just going to need you to stand over here. Don't even worry about it. You can just stand right there in front of that
We
net.
understand your jaw's made of glass.
Crossing the goal line. Because those calls are so
Right,
tough.
yeah, in
that
the goalie
would be
glove
ideal.
type thing.
First, and if you really wanted to, sorry, goalie judges, but you just lost a job. You just link that with the goddamn light,
Yeah.
right?
Shot speed would be a very cool stat.
Be so cool.
Oh, yeah.
You like when the guy's skating with the puck, you could probably tell you how fast he's skating, like shit like that. It'd be fucking sweet.
And it'd be cool to like give some perspective on. I know we've talked about it. Remember the Austin Matthews goal a few weeks back, where we were saying like, you see how
Against the
fast
Penguins.
that pass
Yeah.
was coming, and he one-timed it under the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To put some perspective of like, yeah, the pass was coming at like 45 miles an hour, and like someone trying, if they could ever actually replicate that,
They've got
realize
it.
how
They've got it in the
incredibly-
MLB. You know, they've got the pitch speed, then they got the exit velocity and stuff like
velocity, all
that.
that shit,
Come
yeah.
on,
That's in the
NHL.
ball?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know where the
if it's in
technology
ball,
comes
but they're
from.
measuring all that in the
Yeah.
baseball for sure. Crazy bastards.
Crazy bastards.
Crazy bastards.
Is that the time?
I think it is, Brandon. Do you want to take over?
I think it's time for me to take over.
Okay, take over.
It's time for the weekly picks, boys.
Fuck!
Yes, not your strongest showing, Kittleberger, but for our
Damn it.
listeners, you know the game we play every week. 9 questions predicting NHL actions. You can play at hockeyplayersclub.com/weekly picks. Of the group last week, boys, I did lead us. Thank you very much. 14 points, Custer 13, Kittle 10, Schwartzy 9 point, bring up the rear. Just a little note though for the 1920 season, Kittle, I'm creeping up on you, bro. You're at third though for the whole entire thing.
Yeah, that's right.
That's impressive.
Not a surprise to see me leading the group.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Don't look now. Matty Schwartz is making a run.
It's the best joke I've had all night.
come on, man. He's got a feeling.
Wait, have you guys ever won a week?
Yep.
Cuss, have you won a week?
Have you?
Yes.
You've won a week?
Yes. That's fucking. Have you won a week? No.
No.
I've won a week.
Kittle has won a week.
You know what? You have
We
one
are
guy.
in the Champions Cup.
Damn it.
You're speaking to a champ.
Is that what happened? You've won a week, and then you're like, I'm phoning the rest of this shit in.
Well, I just think it's funny you're chirping me when you're not a champion.
This is true. I'm really not.
You're
I cry
nobody.
myself to sleep most
You're
nights.
nobody. Your soul is dog shit.
You're not even a has-been. You're a never
Dude.
was.
You should get like a little symbol next to your name if you've won it before. We need to add that.
That would be cool. That's a good call.
It needs to be noted
little
that
trophy.
you've won. It's like the blue check mark in Instagram.
Yeah, write that shit down.
Concentrate on golf.
We are happy to report, Kittleberger, February, during last week, February ended on Saturday, right? The leap year, you even had extra questions. You lost by 2 points.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And
Shut up, Custer.
And you know what's amazing about that? You lost to a mite. And his name is Nolan Weir, one badass mite. Got 71 points in February.
That's crazy.
So he won a
Good
free.
number.
We actually shipped him his Hpc X1x Hockey Stick Monday.
P88?
No, he uses a. Let me get this right. Either a 55 or a 65 flex, right-handed P28 curve.
Okay.
So that's on the way to his doorstep right now.
I will say, I was obviously pissed when I saw that I didn't win, but when I saw that it was going to a mite player, I was like, oh, you know what? That's good for him. That's awesome.
Right? At least it
Yeah.
went to a mite.
Wasn't some other asshole.
And you know, and I'm a neb shit, so I actually went through all the questions. I wanted to know where the difference lied. You guys had the exact same answers, or at least had the same results for 7 of the 9 questions. One of them, though, you got right was a 3-pointer that he got wrong. You predicted Columbus. He went Carolina. But for 5 points, he predicted Panarin and Konechny
Yeah,
having the
stupid
most assists.
fucking
when
question
you
we talked
predicted
about on the show.
Malkin and Raquel. So that earned him the W and a free X1X. And last week for the gift card, Beckett Laprade Tied Jim Walsh with 22 points, but for the 1920 season has more, and that's the first tiebreaker. So, boys,
Jim.
like we always do, for this coming week, we've got 3 predictions to make. Schwartzy, I'm coming to you first. Who's going to win the Hurricanes-Flyers game on Thursday? Flyers are hot, but these two teams are very close in the standings.
Yeah, I like the Fly guys. Per the discussion in the beginning of the pod, they're hot and they're playing with confidence.
We come full circle with it, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going with the Philadelphia Flyers. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if David Ayers was playing for the Carolina Hurricanes, but I mean, the Flyers have the greatest % chance to win the Stanley Cup. You can't go against them in this game.
So I literally just went Carolina Hurricanes just because I figured if I can pick up some points on like a random one, I got to be different from everybody else. So yeah,
Well, you've always been different.
Plus, they got a good squad. They're going to turn it around. I know they've been on a little skid. Custer, coming to you first for 3 points. Which game will have the most power play goals scored on Friday? We have Chicago playing Detroit, Colorado playing Vancouver, and Toronto playing Anaheim.
I'm going to go Chicago versus Detroit, 2 teams that are in close proximity that don't like each other. I think there's going to be lots of penalties, which means lots of power play goals.
Idiot. Kyle.
So I think Chicago, Detroit, Anaheim all have not great power plays, whereas Colorado, Vancouver are both pretty good power plays. So I went Avalanche and Canucks.
Maddie?
Colorado, Vancouver, 2 very skilled teams with high-level talent, good power plays.
I don't need to say anything more. I went with Colorado and Vancouver as well. And
I hope there's one power play in that game.
And they score.
Kittleberger coming to you first for 5 points. And the last one we will be predicting for the week. Which teammates will record the most points on Saturday? Kovalchuk and Ovechkin. Sagan, that's versus the Penguins, excuse me. Sagan and Pavelski versus the Predators. Marchand and Krejci versus the Lightning. Barkov and Huberdeau versus the Canadiens. Or Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins versus the Blue Jackets.
So I like the Florida duo a whole lot, but you just cannot bet against Leon Draisaitl right now. Like we said before, I mean, he's putting up fucking 5-point nights. I had to go with Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins.
Cos?
I hate to do this, but I also am going with Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins. I think we talked about it in like November of, okay, hey, when's Draisaitl going to slow down? He still hasn't. It's March. I don't think he's going to this season. Can't go wrong.
Schwartzy.
Sam.
So, I know I'm with you guys, and Nugent Hopkins has actually been tearing it up of late too. But just to be different. No, not just to be different. I do think Barkov and Huberdeau are going to have a night up in Montreal. So that was my guess.
Okay. Fair enough.
For 5 points. Last reminder for all listeners, hockeyplayersclub.com/weekly-picks to play. Matt, that app should be out next week. So we don't need to keep teasing it, but it will be here soon.
I got blue balls about the app. That's how long you've been teasing it.
No, that's something else. That's not the end.
Oh. Should I go see a doctor?
You get erect with some weird things, man. But boys, you ready?
No. Now I am.
Oh,
all right, let's go.
Boys, it's time for Win Cal's Money! All right, this week's contestant for Win Kyle's Money is none other than Tony Krugnali from Pittsburgh, PA.
What up, Tony?
What's up?
How you doing, Tony?
Good, you?
Great, man. We know Tony from back in the day. Tony played in our 4-on-4 Quest Hockey League. He's a goaltender. He played at Cannon Mac and the Rink Rats and the Hornets and Shawhoff, for those of you in the Pittsburgh area. And he also played for Cannon Mac High School and is now the goalie coach at Cannon Mac.
Nice. That's
he
cool.
goes to Pittsburgh Technical College, and he's going to graduate in July with a concentration in architecture. So, Tony, great to have you on the pod, man.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
So do you still play at all? Like, do you play in any adult leagues around the area?
Yeah, I play a lot of adult league, especially out at South Point.
Okay, cool.
Do you still go goalie, or I feel like a lot of goalies, once they're done playing competitively, often go to the players?
Well, I player on one, and then I sub every now and then for other teams.
Nice. Just like Kittleberger.
You sound like Kittleberger.
Sounds like old Swiss cheese Kittleberger.
Just can't get enough of it. I love it. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining. In case anyone doesn't know, here's how Win Kyle's Money works. You and Kyle will both be asked the same 7 questions. You'll have a minute to answer those 7 questions. Whoever answers the most questions in the shortest amount of time wins. If you don't know a question, you can pass and come back to it once you're done answering. Time is definitely of the essence. If you're able to defeat Kittleberger, you will get a $20 HPC gift card. In 15 contests, Kyle is 14-1. So he is really dominating of late. And I think you're on a bit of a hot streak. His one defeat was a bit of a fluke, I will say.
Yeah, I feel like I lost that one myself more than Denny won it.
Yeah. And so understand the rules there, Tone? You think you got it?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, Kyle, get off your lair. We're kicking him out.
Kyle will go to his secret silent lair.
Other known as
Underground lair.
sidewalk.
Other known as the sidewalk in Dormont.
the electronic boutique up there on the corner.
All right. Time. Cuss, you good on the time?
Good on the time, man.
All right, Tony, the time. Cuss will tell you when you have 10 seconds left, and the clock will start once I'm done asking the first question.
Okay.
Here we go. Last night, Sidney Crosby recorded his 800th career assist in his 980th game. 5 players have reached 800 assists in fewer games. Excluding Gretzky and Lemieux, name one of them.
Gordie Howe.
How many goals has Ilya Kovalchuk scored for the Washington Capitals?
2.
In 2019, Kevin Fiala was traded from the Nashville Predators to the Minnesota Wild for this player.
You can pass.
I'll skip that one for now.
At just 24 years old, Leon Draisaitl is 3rd in career NHL points among German-born players. Who is first?
I'll skip that one.
Blackhawks rookie Kirby Dach played in the WHL for the Saskatoon what?
Keith.
This left-handed player from Quebec has the most career points in Florida Panthers franchise history.
10 seconds.
Skip that one.
Name one of the 2 active NHL players who are among the 50 players with the worst career plus-minus.
Keith Yandel.
All right. Time.
It's a tough week.
Tough go, Tony. I do respect your willingness to just throw out some answers. Tough week, and you're a young gun. All right, Kyle.
The Grizzly vet.
You needed a lot of extra hours to garner as much knowledge as this asshole's got.
Yeah. So.
That's you, Kittle.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Are you ready to rock and roll? Kyle's donning. I'm gonna play my best color commentator here. Kyle is wearing a 1990 Pittsburgh Penguins sweater.
That might be from the 70s.
It's 80s or 90s for damn sure.
Tune into our YouTube channel if you want to see
You
what
wouldn't
he's
have fit
wearing.
that when you were 22. I'm going to tell you that right now.
He's also wearing a 91-92 back-to-back Stanley Cup champions white hat
Yeah.
with the black slapshot glasses on, and he's drinking a.
What are you drinking?
This is that goat beer.
Oh, nice.
He's drinking a goat beer with a koozie that says it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure.
You see what they did there with the play on word? Oh, man. I hope they got a raise for that one.
All right, well, Kyle, are you ready to rock?
Ready.
Here we go.
Okay.
Last night, Sidney Crosby recorded his 800th career assist in his 980th game. 5 players have reached 800 assists in fewer games. Excluding Gretzky and Lemieux, name one of them.
Ron Francis.
How many goals has Ilya Kovalchuk scored for the Washington Capitals?
0.
In 2019, Kevin Fiala was traded from the Nashville Predators to the Minnesota Wild for this player.
Mikael Granlund.
At just 24 years old, Leon Draisaitl is 3rd in career NHL points among German-born players. Who is first?
Marco Sturm.
Blackhawks rookie Kirby Dach played in the WHL for the Saskatoon what?
Saskatoon. Oh, pass.
This left-handed player from Quebec has the most career points in Florida Panthers franchise history.
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Name one of the 2 active NHL players who are among the 50 players with the worst career plus-minus.
Worst career plus-minus. Jesus. Pass on that. I'm going to say Saskatoon Blades. So worst career plus-minus. Shit.
5 seconds.
I don't know. Pass. Just call it.
Stop it.
59.
All right, well,
Sorry, Tony.
no hope or a prayer there, but actually, if Kyle just took more time than you, but I don't even think that was possible, but Kyle, great showing. Tony got 0 correct.
Oh,
Wah, wah.
That's rough.
But as we do every week, let's go through the questions and highlight the right answers. 5 players.
Granlund, right? That was a snipe, by the way, if that's correct. God damn.
So 5 players have got 800 assists in fewer games than Sidney Crosby. Gretzky, Lemieux, Coffey, Oates, and Trottier.
Damn it, I was going to say Oates. I should have fucking stuck with it. Overthought it.
I said Francis too.
Gretzky, just for a frame of reference, Gretzky did it in 527 games.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Took Crosby 980.
Yeah.
How many goals?
That's more.
How many goals has Ilya Kovalchuk scored for the Washington Capitals? 0. I saw a quote. It was like Kovalchuk has yet to register a goal for the Capitals, and like Kovalchuk was quoted as, "I'm going to try really hard tomorrow." that's such a Kovalchuk quote.
Yeah.
Fiala was traded for Mikael
Granlund. Yeah.
That was correct. 24 years old, Leon Draisaitl. The player who has the most NHL points among German-born players is Marco Sturm.
Yeah, boy.
Good snipe, kids. He has 487 points. Draisaitl has 420. He will soon hold that record.
He's going to blow past it.
Kirby Dach played for the Saskatoon Blades.
Nice.
Oh,
So
what
I
a
did
late
get it.
snipe.
A late snipe from Kittleberger on that one. Most career points in Florida Panthers franchise history. We gave the hint that he's left-handed and he's from Quebec. That's Jonathan Huberdeau with 436 points. Correct, Kittleberger. That's a hard one to believe because he's played for them this whole career. And you would think it would be like some guy, I don't know, my thought was Mellenby or something.
Stephen Weiss,
Yeah.
one of those guys.
Yeah. And then worst plus minus. 2 guys are in the top 50 for worst career plus minus, 2 active guys. And Rasmus Ristolainen at minus 141.
Okay.
Ilya Kovalchuk at minus 148. Bob Stewart holds that record for a career minus 257.
Pretty strong.
Rasmus hasn't been in the league that long.
Well, he's been on Buffalo his whole career.
7 years, 7 seasons. The guy with the first overall has 9 seasons. He must have really sucked.
Can't even put him on the ice.
Well, we appreciate your time, Tony. Good effort. Maybe we'll come back to you next season and you can put forth a little bit better of a showing, but we do appreciate your time nonetheless.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Later, Tony.
All right.
See you guys.
Well, Kyle, you now are 15-1.
Yeah.
That was a shellacking.
I felt good about
love
that.
you,
Some of those, the Marco Sturm one and the Mikael Granlund were fucking snipes.
So what did I get? Did I get
You had 5.
5?
Yeah, you got 5.
All right. Felt good about it. And I should have had the Oates.
You know, I'm going to start, and I should
Keep track.
I should go back and do this. 5 out of 7 in 59 seconds. The one week you did get 7 for 7,
Yeah, against Markey, and he was all fucking fired up.
which was really good. And we could even start putting some stats together. Like you answer 70% of the questions right, I would say probably somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
But another defeat. And,
I like it.
Hey, the
impressive
legend
showing.
grows. The legend grows. We're one step closer to getting Mark Madden on here battling against you.
Yeah.
That's what we should.
I would love to know like who in the mainstream media would be the best person for this.
A
Gucci
lot of those
Gross
guys
would
are
be
super
good, I would think.
knowledgeable. Like the Jeff Merrick, the guy that's on that 31 Thoughts podcast, he belongs to this Society for International Hockey Research that's basically like a bunch of hockey nerds from what I've heard. And they just pull facts out of fucking nowhere that even blow me way out of the water. It's like, who the fuck knows that?
It's
You've
like
been applying for this
secret
secret society for years.
No,
haven't you?
I've not gotten there. But they pull out these obscure names from 1947. It's like, who the fuck knows that? No one's going to know that. It's crazy shit.
Just capturing your look.
My essence.
Well, maybe if this record continues to grow, some of these guys will step to the plate. Right. I think you would hold a strong chance against.
I think it's on you guys to get it out there on social media and be like, yo, we got this fucking kid. Wait till you see him. Wait till you see him.
Goofy looking bastard.
Got no style sense, but can answer some fucking hockey questions.
Guys are a bunch of assholes. I don't know that right now.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Another good podcast.
Good hockey talk.
Cheers here. We'll see everybody next week. Peace.